Hey there, Salina here, and this video is going to be information on baby-led weaning. So I decided to do this video because I had actually borrowed one of the books from the library, which is the Baby-Led Weaning Cookbook, and I figured since I had the book and it had the information in it, I would go ahead and make a video. There are two books. There is, I don't even know what the first one is called, but it's the main Baby-Led Weaning book, which has like all the information in it, and then the second book is the cookbook, and that's actually the one that I had wanted to borrow because I was at a loss with what to feed my son, so I got that book. This video is going to be information from the actual book regarding baby-led weaning. Let's get started. So what is baby-led weaning? Baby-led weaning is something that's been around for a long time. It's just recently they've coined a term that goes with it. So I remember telling my mom about baby-led weaning and she was like, we've been doing that for, I mean, that's what I did with you guys, except it wasn't called baby-led weaning then. So it's, if you talk to an older adult or an older adult about it, they're gonna be like, yeah, I've done that before or whatever. But it is based on the way babies develop their skills in the first year. If given the chance to handle food, babies will instinctively learn to feed themselves when they are ready, and this usually occurs around 6 months. Benefits, I will list some of the benefits of baby-led weaning, though not all. Babies are included in family meals and they get to watch, and also eventually they will get to join in eating what everyone else is eating, so they're included. No one feeds the baby, so while you're eating you can actually, of course you watch them, but you eat your own food and they eat their own food and they do it themselves. It is up to baby what, how much, and how fast they eat, and that one is a really important one. It develops hand-eye coordination, dexterity, and chewing. And mealtime isn't a battleground, and the mealtime isn't a battleground kind of goes with the they decide what, how much, and how fast they eat. If you've ever tried to spoon feed a baby, or if you hear other people talking about spoon feeding a baby, sometimes the baby will absolutely refuse what it is that you're trying to feed them. And I'm sorry, the lighting keeps changing, and they'll spit it out, or it's just a really big hassle trying to feed them because they don't want what you're trying to give them, or you're not moving fast enough for them because they want more and more and more, but you're going slow at a slower pace. They get to decide how fast they go. So when is baby ready? Baby is ready when they are able to sit up with little or no support. They can reach out and grab things effectively. They can take objects to mouth quickly and efficiently, and they make gnawing and chewing motions. This usually happens around 6 months, but some babies are ready a few weeks before 6 months, like my son was. We started him at 5.5 months, and others may not be ready until around 8 months. Every baby is different, and that's something important. If your child is not interested in food, don't try to force it on them. They may not be ready for it. Every child is different. In the beginning, most foods will fall out of their mouth. Then the baby will learn how to chew, and then they will learn how to swallow. So when you first start with baby-led weaning, if all the food's just falling out their mouth and it doesn't seem like they're swallowing anything, that's fine. That's usually how it goes in the beginning. And then they learn to chew their food, and then they learn to swallow, which is actually a really good progression because they're not just swallowing whole pieces. At first, they're learning how to chew before they learn how to swallow. Gag reflex. So this is something that is really big and a huge concern with parents involving baby-led weaning. So choking and gagging are two completely different things, and choking is what most parents are worried about. Thing is that with baby-led weaning, gagging happens. Choking is not is not more likely to happen with baby-led weaning than it is with spoon feeding. And choking happens when something completely blocks the airway. Gagging is when a piece of food that isn't completely chewed up into smaller bites, or that's too big, or that was too big for the baby, goes farther back in their mouth, too far back in their mouth or down their throat, and they gag it to bring it back forward. Babies can bring the food forward on their own, and it is important that you let them do this on their own. The reason why babies are gagging, it happens, is because they are learning where that reflex is. So they're learning that they can't swallow those big pieces, and also their gag reflexes is actually more sensitive than adults, so it's actually farther in their mouth than what adults are. And that's actually a good thing because it helps them, you know, learn how to eat, chew, and swallow food. Gagging helps the babies learn how to eat safely. Some babies will gag more than others, and some babies will gag repeatedly. My son actually will hold the food in his mouth while he's gagging, and it bothers me so much. But it happens, and some babies will keep just shoving the food in their mouth and gagging, while others, it may only happen once or twice and then won't happen again. Every baby is different. But gagging isn't necessarily something to be worried about. You absolutely positively need to make sure that your baby is sitting upright while you're feeding them. This will help them be able to get that food out. If they're laid back or laying down, then that could cause a choking hazard. So you need to make sure that they are sitting up and leaning forward, and they should be able to bring that food forward on their own if they're gagging. This one, super important. No one should put their finger in the baby's mouth. This could push the food farther back in the baby's mouth, causing them to choke. If your baby is gagging, do not stick your finger in their mouth. If they are choking, then first aid measures may be necessary. So this is just more info on baby-led weaning, like introducing foods and how mealtime is going to go with baby when you start. So in the beginning, mealtime is going to be playtime. It is not going to be a serious thing for baby. Baby-led weaning allows them to explore the textures and things of food. So in the beginning, they're gonna look at food as a toy and as an object and not necessarily something to eat. And later on, they will learn that this is edible. I can eat this. It is important that you feed baby when they are not tired or hungry. At this point, formula or breast milk should be their main form of nutrition. And being tired or hungry can cause them to be distracted or frustrated while trying to eat. If you've heard, food before one is just for fun. It's really just practice for later on when they're going to need to eat more. You can, when you offer them the food, or from the book it says to offer, like, put the food down in front of them so that they can pick it up and choose what they want to eat versus handing it to them, because you're choosing for them. So that's what the book says. Sometimes I would hand it to my son, and other times I wouldn't. It really just depended on the food. You can offer foods that everyone else is eating. That way the baby feels included, because after a while they will be able to notice that I'm getting something different from everybody else. I don't want this, I want that. And that's actually kind of the place that my son is at now. Sorry y'all, he's a little on the tired side. Don't use plates and bowls in the beginning. Those will just be a distraction. And I know for my son, like if I have anything in a bowl or a plate, he just wants to dump it all out the bowl or off the plate. So those are just going to be distractions in the beginning. So don't use those just yet. Obviously make sure the food's not too hot for them before you give it to them, and give them a variety of tastes. Don't just give them the same thing every single time that you feed them. Babies actually like all the different tastes, and you know, baby food is either bland when it comes to vegetables or it's sweet. So babies can actually like, and it's actually good for the development, to have a variety of different tastes. And it helps them, you know, develop like what food they like and what food they don't like. You can do cooked veggies, and the veggies can be cooked any way. They could be roasted, steamed, boiled, or any of those things like that. You just need to make sure that the food, like in the beginning when they don't have teeth, it's soft and mushy enough for them to chew, but not so mushy that when they pick it up it like just turns to mush in their hand. So you can use cooked veggies like green beans, asparagus, broccoli, cauliflower, sweet potato, avocados, fruits. With many fruits, it'll actually help to keep the peel on or cut them in a way that makes it easy for the child to hold. But you can give them all kinds of different fruits, like pear, banana, mango, apples. And with foods like apples, you can actually put those in the microwave for a few seconds to soften them. That's what it said in the book. Haven't tried it yet. You can try it if you want to. They can actually eat different pastas, though in the beginning it may be better not to put any pasta sauce on them because that will make them slippery. So that'll be harder for the baby to grab onto. Salt. When you season the food, if you're going to be giving the baby the same food that you're eating, make sure that you don't put a whole bunch of salt on the food. Their kidneys cannot handle a whole bunch of salt. So what you can do is just season your food or everyone else's food after it's cooked and on the plate, if you're going to be giving baby food like everybody else. They can have bread, but it's best if the bread is toasted. In the beginning, you can give them water in a cup. If you start off with a cup, it'll teach them how to use a cup from the beginning. I'll actually put the cup right here that my son uses. I absolutely love this. It's spill proof, it's 360, and it most definitely teaches them how to drink out of a cup, and I absolutely love it. So at 7 months, he's drinking pretty well out of a regular cup. Even though he's was mostly breastfed and didn't really use bottles and things like that, he's still having, like, he doesn't know that you have to tip it up to drink it even with his sippy cup. But he's slowly learning that. Don't push baby to eat more than what they want to eat. If you've seen other people with kids, or if you have kids of your own, you know that their appetites are going to vary. One day they may eat a whole bunch and the next day they may barely eat anything. Don't push them to eat more than what they want to eat. That's going to cause meal times to be a battlefield, and that's kind of what we're trying to avoid here. If you are the kind of person that feels like babies should finish everything on their plate, like when they're older, like 2 or something like that, then maybe instead of giving them a whole bunch, give them a smaller amount, and then if they want more, you can give them more. That way there's not too much pressure on baby to eat, or toddler to eat. And that's kind of what you want to do. You don't want to pressure them too much. Signs baby is done are wiggling to get down, looking bored, playing with bib or clothes, and when they get older, they could start like repeatedly dropping food onto the floor. And this is actually, it's kind of something my son does, kind of not. Once he has a bite of food in his mouth, if there's any food left on the tray, he will put it all onto the floor. It doesn't necessarily mean that he's finished. It's just he doesn't want any other food in front of him while he's chewing on what's in his mouth. Then at the same time, when he is done, he will just clear off and just push everything off the tray. It's kind of annoying, but that's his way of saying that he's done. So when he's done, and I get him up from the table. I guess if you have an older kid and you would like for them to stay at the table, kids have short attention spans, so what you can do is maybe have an activity for them to do while they sit at the table while everyone else finishes eating, because a older child may not have the attention span to sit at the table for an extended period of time. And know that baby will get frustrated when doing baby-led weaning. It's learning a new thing, so it's like when they're playing with a toy and they can't quite get the toy to do what they want it to do. It's kind of the same thing with baby-led weaning. They're going to get tired and all that stuff. But one thing that I read in another book that is actually maybe a cause for concern with baby-led weaning is that after 6 months, it varies from baby to baby, but after 6 months, babies start to need iron and zinc in their diet. And most baby foods are fortified with iron and zinc. But with baby-led weaning, you can't really say how much your child is getting because they're deciding on their own how much they eat, and it's a lot harder to judge like how much they're eating and if they're eating enough. So that's what I've read in a completely different book about one issue with baby led weaning. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video. I highly recommend baby led weaning for anyone who wants to try. I actually have a video of my son eating different foods, so you guys can go check out that video if you would like. That is it for this video. If you have any videos that you would like for me to do, feel free to request. New video every Wednesday and every Sunday, and until next time, deuces.